Welcome to Millennium TV 24. You know what it is. It's a good look in news with me, Kim Seabrook. And as always, I want to start off with what's going on right here in New York. So, favorite flavors, they disappear. You know, the Italian ices, Ralph Italian ices, they face a shortage because it's a summer staple that customers look forward to. But unfortunately, Ralph's famous Italian ices and ice cream is running out of flavors. So customers at the Ralph's in Comic are quickly finding out that certain flavors are not available as soon as they get the menu that shows actually a huge number of items circled, saying that they're out of stock. So owner Scott Rosenberg says this all boils down to a problem caused by what else? The pandemic, unfortunately. Ralph's customers Allison Dunsmore got a not so sweet surprise when the store didn't have any of the flavors she wanted. I ordered 5 or 6 flavors that I couldn't have, says Dunsmore. Normally there are more than 100 varieties, but right now it's closer to 60 choices. And real quick, I just want to say we're really spoiled in the United States of America, because if you cannot find a couple of flavors out of 60, I think that's a huge problem. But let's move forward, right? Rosenberg says the shortage is happening because there aren't enough workers at the company's factory in New Jersey. They have limited staff, says Rosenberg. They have about half the workforce that they normally have, and they're having trouble producing. Ralph isn't the only business impacted by a lack of workers. At Pete the Greek in Old Bethpage, owner Pete Georgatos says he has a second location ready to open in Harpog, but the doors are still closed because he doesn't have enough employees. So we're finding people are not responding to our job listings, says Georgatos, and the workforce is not out there for us. The Mattatuck ice cream shop Magic Fountain just announced that it will shut down every Tuesday and Wednesday starting August 1st because of a lack of workers. Economic analyst Martin Cantor says that the shortage is due in part of the enhanced $300 unemployment benefit. He also says that is due to COVID-19 concerns. So with this Delta variant coming out now and more people starting to come down with COVID, people who are unvaccinated or afraid of COVID would not show up to work, says Cantor. And the enhanced unemployment benefits are set to expire in September, and President Joe Biden says that he does not have any plans to renew them. So I guess with the unemployment going on and the fear of being around other people and being close to people because of the COVID, so it's causing a lot of issues for small businesses and large businesses as well. Hopefully things will turn around and you can get all those 100 flavors of ices that you're looking for. But next, as we still continue talking about icy, Bill de Blasio won't be eating Ben & Jerry's for a while because of Israel boycott. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio joined those condemning the decision by Ben & Jerry's to bar ice cream sales in the occupied Palestinian territory. And they said that just last Tuesday that he would be staging a boycott of his own. I can say that I won't be eating any more Cherry Garcia for a while, de Blasio said in a reference to one of the company's most beloved flavors. But that's sad to me. I don't know them well, but I've met them over the years. And I think that they're good people. But literally, Ben & Jerry, he added, I think that they're good people with good values, but this is a mistake. They shouldn't do this. So what's going on is New York City mayor's comments come one day after the ice cream company, what they decided was that it would be stopping all sales in the Gaza Strip and West Bank. So we have a long-standing partnership with our licensee who manufactures Ben & Jerry's ice cream in Israel and distributes it in the region. The company said in the press release statement that we have been working to change this, but they have also been informed that our licensee will not renew the license agreement when it expires at the end of next year. So the release also stated that it will continue to sell ice cream in Israel through a different arrangement, but the announcement has been met with condemnation by top Jewish leaders, and Prime Minister Naftali Bennett warned that the parent company of Ben & Jerry's Unilever place of severe consequences in a Tuesday phone call with CEO Alan Jope. Bennett called the move a glaring anti-Israel measure and said that Israel would act aggressively against any boycott measure targeting civilians. Some grocery stores in New York, which is home to one of the largest Jewish populations in the U.S., are removing the top ice cream chain from their shelves. And that's it, an ice cream. But next we move forward to innocent bystander injured in broad daylight New York City shooting. A broad daylight shooting in Manhattan injured a 53-year-old woman Tuesday afternoon. The innocent bystander was grazed in the back by a bullet when the gunfire erupted on Lexington Avenue and 126th Street. That's in Spanish Harlem. That was around 4 p.m. And the shooter or shooters were settling a score that did not involve the victim and fled the scene. The woman was taken to Harlem Hospital. She's in stable condition as detectives search for the assailant. And next we have New York City health workers will be required to be vaccinated or tested weekly. This is such a crazy thing that's going on. I literally just got a text message from a colleague who was actually a guest on our news platform, and this is what's going on. Let's just move forward. But Mayor Bill de Blasio is expected to announce Wednesday that all New York City health workers, well, this was just yesterday, will be required to be vaccinated or receive weekly COVID tests. Do you know how difficult that is to receive a weekly COVID test? One COVID test is painful. To do it every week, so this is where they're going to mandate the vaccine. After months of decline amid soaring vaccination rates, coronavirus cases are once again on the rise in the tri-state area, so they stated. New York City Council member Mark Levine tweeted that the mandating vaccines or regular testing for city health workers is an important and necessary step. The new policy is expected to apply to employees at city-run hospitals as well as nursing homes and clinics. Health officials are urging the public to get vaccinated at a time when the highly contagious Delta variant is spreading and hospitalizations and infections are on the rise. More than 1,000 people a day are now testing positive in New York based on the latest 7-day average according to the analysis of the state data. But that's up from a pandemic low of 306 per day on June 25th. About 56 of New York 20 million residents are fully vaccinated. But that's a small increase from 54.5% as of July 4th, despite efforts by Governor Cuomo's administrations to increase rates in the least vaccinated parts of the state. Vaccination rates are lowest in rural counties in western and central New York, as well as parts of New York City, including the Bronx and Brooklyn. But moving forward, we have to go past that. Dan, did you not get a stimulus check? Well, guess what? A local nonprofit's outreach effort aims to help excluded workers. So a local nonprofit organization announced this week that it would be making its latest push to secure workers' benefits for those excluded from the federal stimulus efforts. El Centro de Inmigrante, based in Port Richmond, launched what it is described as a massive outreach effort last week about New York's Excluded Workers Fund, the first of its kind in the nation. In this crucial moment for our community, we also need the support of employers on Staten Island, El Centro's co-executive director Michelle Molino stated. Without a letter of past employment, many will find it difficult to access the fund that will get this month's rent paid on time. The Excluded Workers Fund is meant to provide financial relief for New Yorkers who suffered income loss during the pandemic and were left out of the federal relief programs like unemployment and pandemic benefits. So many of the workers, if they're undocumented immigrants, with jobs severely impacted by the pandemic, like back-of-house restaurant employees, nail salon workers, and domestic helpers. Applicants must prove that they have lived in New York State since before March 27th of 2020, and they did not receive unemployment insurance, any other COVID-19 income relief, or any other government benefits. And they had to have earned less than $26,208 in the 12 months prior to April 2021 and lost a certain percentage of income that has been yet to be identified. That's according to the Department of Labor. To prove those things, applicants will be asked to provide a proof of identity, proof of residency, and proof of work eligibility. Successful applicants will be eligible for either $15,600 in benefits minus taxes or $3,200 in benefits minus taxes. And moving forward, what do we have? New York drug distributors reach $1.18 billion opioid settlement as national deal looms. The three largest U.S. drug distributors agreed mid-trial to pay up to $1.18 billion to settle claims by New York State and two of its biggest counties over the role in the nationwide opioid epidemic. The state's attorney general stated that this was done on Tuesday. McKesson Corp, Cardinal Health Inc., and Amerisource Virgin Corp. settled as state attorneys general prepared to announce as soon as this week a landmark $26 billion deal with the distributors and drug makers, Johnson & Johnson, resolving cases nationwide. The deal with New York Attorney General Letitia James and the populous Long Island counties of Nassau and Suffolk came 3 weeks into the first jury trial, accusing companies of profiting from a flood of addictive painkillers that devastated communities. While no amount of money will ever compensate for the millions of addictions, the hundreds of thousands of deaths, or the countless communities devastated by opioids, this money will be vital in preventing any future devastation, James stated. Nearly 500,000 people died from opioid overdoses in the United States from 1999 to 2019. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC last week said provisional data showed that 2020 was a record year for overall drug overdose deaths, with 93,331. That is up 29% from a year earlier. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with the pandemic, unfortunately. Well, we have one more story before we go into break. California couple faces manslaughter charges for wildfire that started during a gender reveal. A Southern California couple are facing manslaughter charges in connection with a deadly wildfire last September that prosecutors say was sparked by a smoke bomb during a gender reveal. The El Dorado fire, which began at a park in Ucapia, California, killed a firefighter and injured two other firefighters while burning more than 22,000 acres across San Bernardino and Riverside counties. A grand jury indicted the couple, Refugio Manuel Jimenez Jr. and Angela Renee Jimenez, on one count each of involuntary manslaughter. San Bernardino's County District Attorney Jason Anderson said that they also faced 3 felony counts of recklessly causing a fire with great bodily injury, 4 felony counts of reckless causing a fire to inhabited structures, and 22 misdemeanor counts. That is a lot, and all you're trying to do is celebrate your baby. But about half of the wildfires in the western United States are caused by people, from downed power lines, discarded cigarettes, unattended campfires, while the other half are started by lightning. Obviously, he wouldn't have been out there if this hadn't started in the first place. Anderson said of Charles Martin, 39, the firefighter who was killed. He's fighting a fire that was started because of a smoke bomb. That's the only reason that he was there. Refugio Manuel Jimenez Jr. and Angela Renee Jimenez, who held the gender reveal, pleaded not guilty and were released without having to post bail. Lawyers representing them could not be immediately reached for comment. Anderson said that if they were convicted, they could face several years in
Millennium
jail.
TV.
Again,
Bridging.
sad story. I know that definitely wasn't done.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back to Millennium TV 24. Thank you for taking a good look in the news with me, Kim Seabrook. And we have a special guest. Oh my gosh, this young lady by the name of Egypt. She was born and raised in Queens. She is only 16 years old. She's a child prodigy, a humanitarian, a CEO of 2 companies. Oh my goodness, what else? She is a designer. She's an author of 2 books. Egypt, I could just go on and on about you, but hi, how are you?
I'm doing very good. And yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you on. I've been wanting you on for quite some time just because I know of all the great things that you're doing out there in the community. But give us some background on who you are, Egypt, and please pronounce your last name. I didn't want to mess it up. I should have asked you that before I got on.
My name is Egypt Ufele.
Ufele.
And I'm 16 and I'm a fashion designer and anti-bullying activist and I go around the world. I'm not currently traveling now, but I basically go around the world and inspire girls that are my age and like talk about how bullying affects people around us.
Absolutely. And you started this because, if I'm not mistaken, you had some health issues growing up as a child and you had to take steroids. And the steroids had, unfortunately, put some weight gain on you. But not unfortunately, because it turned around and made you to who you are today, this beautiful woman, to inspire other kids who are getting bullied because of weight. Or now it's other things. It's not even just weight. People are just bullies for no reason at all. But that's a little bit of the background, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was growing up, I was diagnosed with asthma, and I had to take steroids in order to, keep my lungs working properly. And it caused me to put on some weight. And the kids did not understand that because, I'm first and second grade. So it's just like people are just like picking at you, calling you names and stuff like that. And it wasn't a good feeling. So I just decided to create my own company where I could go around and talk about some of the experiences that I had and like how I could help other people.
So was there an example of maybe one other kid? I'm sure you have touched many, but is there one specific example where you touched someone and they came to you and told you what a difference you made in their life?
When I had first started my like traveling around and like getting my name out there, this girl messaged me on Messenger and was like, I was homeschooled because I was so tired of getting bullied, and you inspired me to go back to school.
That's nice. That's a big step, especially to go back to school and just face it and deal with it. You do a lot. You do a lot. How do you find the time and the energy to do all of this? Because even with the pandemic, you now you have 2 books. You started doing more designing with masks and other things, right? What's been going on since the pandemic?
Well, since you're in the pandemic, you're basically staying, like when we were in quarantine, like you just sit in the house most of the time. So I decided to do something useful with my time because, like, if I wasn't in class, then I was just sitting around watching TV. Like, there was really nothing to do. So I was like, I might as well just do something productive with my time. And that's when I started making masks and doing the dog clothes and stuff like that. And I was still doing interviews, but they were like digital, like on Zoom.
Right, like right now, like what we're doing.
Yeah.
I definitely miss the interaction, the person to person, and sitting here and vibing. But thankful to also have this opportunity where we can have, more guests to be a part of what we're doing here. So let's see. Let's talk about the big thing. When you started, you were the youngest to be at New York Fashion Week, 10 years old.
Yes.
Talk about that. And not only that, your fashion is African design based, correct?
Yes.
That's big to be in New York Fashion Week and 10 years old. Give us some insight on that.
So I had started my fashion line, and my mom was like, "Okay, so we're gonna do New York Fashion Week." I was like, "Okay, that's fine with me," but I didn't know like it was such a big task because like I was only 10, so I didn't really know that much about going into like the fashion industry and stuff. Because I was basically just going with the flow because it was like my first time really doing this
Right.
kind of stuff. So it was like a lot. Like we had to be there really early, and we had a lot of fittings that we had to do. And it was like in the beginning, it was a little draining because like I was so young, and everybody else was so much older, and like nobody was really taking me serious. Everybody was going straight to my mom and stuff. But then like when they finally learned my story and stuff, like people started to actually like recognize who I was and like actually like take the time to acknowledge me.
Right.
And it was like it was a really good experience for me. It was a learning experience because like it taught me like certain things that you have to do behind the scenes, how you could cut down on like fitting time and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like different things that I learned about like doing quick changes, which was like really hard. But yeah, that's basically what it was like.
Yeah, I can imagine being 10 years old. And I was at Fashion Week performing, and I went backstage like 3 years ago, and it was hectic just to watch everybody else do their stuff. I was like, so I can imagine actually being in it and a part of that at 10 years old. That's a lot of work. So for you to be recognized and acknowledged, I give my hat off to you, salute to you, and look at all the things. And let's talk about you're still an A student and still doing all these things.
Yeah, I like I said, I try to devote like a lot of my time to school because like, it's like the only thing that could really like take you far. Not saying it's like you have to devote all your time to school in order to be successful, but at the same time, like it's like I always know that like if all else fails, I have my
Something to your education to fall back on. Well, I mean, I think your mother has been a huge role model for you, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yes.
Yeah, she just got her a degree recently. Am I correct?
Yes, she just became a certified doula.
There we go. Congratulations to her. So yeah, I see you guys, both of you women, are doing phenomenal things, and so it's an honor to share this time with you. Let's see what else. Talk about your two books.
Well, my main book, which is Egypt Ufele Life by My Own Design, is basically like a teaching tool where it's like teaching like the younger kids who want to know about my story. It's like basically teaching them about my life story and like talking about like what bullying is and why some people bully, and then like at the end it's like a thing where they can like write down how they feel about it, kind of like a journal.
Like a journal, okay.
And then the other book, it was a biography about me, and it's also a teaching tool in schools, and it talks about like basically like it's more of a formal one for like I would say like the older kids,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like actual pictures and stuff
Okay.
rather than like illustrations.
Got it, got it. But I know you talked about school and having something to fall back on, but go into how important it is to also be your own boss and an entrepreneur.
Well, being an entrepreneur, you can have like more time to focus on school. Like if I had chosen to just like not have the whole business on the side, then like I would have to like get like a normal job and like juggle school. Even though I do have a normal job now,
I was gonna say,
yeah, I have a normal job now, but it's just like it's more of like basically just teaching you how to manage your time better,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps you like keep yourself motivated because like some people like after they finish school it's just like they're not doing anything, so it's easy to just like get unmotivated and not want to do anything for like the rest of your life. So with that, like it teaches you to like always have like some kind of hustle on the side.
So how would you tell someone, let's say if another 16-year-old comes to you and says, you know what, I want to be my own boss, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would just tell them that like it's all about who you meet. Like every time you get a chance to go to an event, like you should make sure that you um, have business cards to like talk about certain things. If you see that there's somebody important, then you should always try to make sure to go out to speak to them because you never know like what connections they have and like how they can help you further your career and how you could help them in some kind of way.
Absolutely. They say your network is your net worth, right? You heard of that before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it's definitely important to go and meet people and go to different venues. And even if it's not for yourself, you go and support other people, and you'd be surprised by supporting other people how you would meet other people for yourself. It's just, like you said, it's a circle. One hand washes the other. You help me, I help you. Let's build together. That's the thing about entrepreneurship too. always
Right.
good to support other people. How is your support base? How do you?
I feel like I had like my inner circle is like very supportive, like my mom, my brother, sister, my grandma, like a lot of my family and like my house models, like they're very supportive. Like most of them have been there from like when I was like brand new to the industry. So like they've supported me for like the longest, and my mom has always supported me. Like my family, they've always supported me from when I was younger. So it was like it wasn't like a brand new thing, like just because I'm doing this, like they're supporting me.
Right.
They've been supporting me since I was like 3. So like just like I'll be like, oh, I wanna I could just say something like really spontaneous, be like, oh, I wanna be a doctor. They'd be okay, go ahead, like I'll
Ah.
buy this stuff.
That
So
is
it's
so important to have that. That really is because there's so many kids who may want to do something different and the parents are objective to it because they want them to just, no, I want you to be a doctor or I want you to do this, but they don't,
like
right?
they're more open to letting me learn on my own, like what I wanna do. Like they won't force me into doing something if I don't.
That's awesome. And I've seen you grow. I think I've been following you since you were maybe 11. You're 16 now. I would say
Yeah.
about 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, 4 to 5 years. And I've seen your growth, and I'm so proud of you. I mean, what else do you have on your resume, or what do you plan on adding? Because I mean, goodness, you just do everything. So, what is your overall goal at the end of the day when you hit 35? What do you think you're going to be at?
Um I have no idea. Like it's just I'm at the age where I'm still trying to figure out like what I want to do like long term because I'm like retiring from like the fashion design because I decided I was like I've been doing this for a while.
You say you're
So
retiring from the fashion?
yeah,
Why?
because like I feel like I've been doing it for a while. Like it's been almost 6 years. I've been doing it since I was like younger than 10. So it was like okay, it's time for something different.
Okay.
It's like I happen to like to get tired and stuff. So it's just like okay, like, there's only so many shows that you could do.
Understood.
So it's like I might as well just branch out to a different career. So I have no idea where I'm gonna be. I'm like stuck in between like being a doctor or like I have no idea.
But that's okay because you're only 16. So I just wanted to see if you had any, if you were, because I mean, like I said, you do so much from activists, or like again, an author, a CEO of 2 companies. So what do you plan on doing with the bully chasing? I mean, that's going to be something ongoing, right? You're not going to stop that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that going because like bullying is always gonna be a problem. Like even if it's just like something small, like where it's like it even happens in the workplace where like they'll exclude you from certain things just because. So it's just like it's always gonna be an issue like everywhere you go. So I might as well just keep that so I could try to like eliminate it as much as I can.
Absolutely. Well, my goodness, Egypt, unfortunately, time is already up. But before I do go, please let them know where they can follow you, where they can go to your website and buy any of your merchandise and, how, any of your information.
You can follow me on Instagram at Bully Chasers, BULLYCHASERS. And you can go on my website at chubbyline.com, CHUBBIILINE.com.
Yes, make sure you follow this beautiful lady, Egypt. Thank you so much for your time. This is Millennium TV 24. Just stay right there until we go into a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Millennium
There we
TV,
go.
bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back to Millennium TV 24. Again, that was Egypt, CEO of Chubby Line and Chubby Chasers. Please follow her. Go support this young lady. She is amazing and doing some great things for the community. And let's move on to the news. So what we have, trial begins for man accused of raping Georgetown college student. Attorneys delivered opening statements this week in the trial against the man accused of raping a Georgetown college student in 2018. Cody Allen Arnett, 35, is charged with the rape in connection to an incident police said happened in September of 2018 inside an on-campus apartment. Arnett entered an apartment through an unlocked door and raped the woman who lived there at knife point. That's according to officers. In her opening statement, Commonwealth's attorney Sharon Muse played a clip of surveillance video from outside the apartment complex, where she said that it shows Arnett walking back and forth outside the woman's apartment multiple times before deciding to enter. So Arnett then attacked the woman as she slept, Muse said. She said that she would tell you that she was too scared to cry out because she was convinced that if she did, she was convinced that this man with a knife who had just put it at her throat, that he would kill her. He told her he would, and she believed him, she told jurors. But Arnett's attorney, Karima Elderhan, said in an opening statement that Arnett was walking around campus because he was too intoxicated to drive. So they said if you watch the entire surveillance video, it would actually show him outside of several doors a few times as he's walking back and forth in this breezeway, she said. Arnett was invited inside by the woman where they had consensual sex, Elderhan told jurors. It only turned violent when he insulted her and she began to stab him, Elderhan said. But Muse told jurors that the assault was ongoing when the woman was able to grab the knife away from Arnett and stab him to defend herself. Realizing that he no longer had the knife, she knew that the next act that she could take could either save her life or end it. Testimony in the case begins Wednesday morning, which began yesterday. Jurors are expected to hear from the victim and her roommates, police officers, and medical experts stated. And moving forward, a federal judge blocks enforcement of Arkansas ban on most abortions. A federal judge on Tuesday blocked enforcement of a newly enacted Arkansas law banning all abortions except in medical emergencies until she had a chance to decide a legal challenge to the statute on its merits. U.S. District Judge Christine Baker, sitting in state capital Little Rock, issued a preliminary injunction sought by opponents of the measure, one of the strictest anti-abortion laws in the United States. It was due to take effect next Wednesday and passed by the Republican-controlled state legislature and signed into law in March by Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson. The measure would make it a felony for doctors to perform an abortion unless it was necessary to preserve the life of the pregnant woman. No exceptions are permitted for cases of rape or incest. A law contesting the constitutionality of the measure was brought in May by the woman's health provider, Planned Parenthood, and the American Civil Liberties Union on behalf of Little Rock Planning Services, a clinic that performs abortions. They have argued that the law will disproportionately impact minorities, lower-income women, and those living in rural areas, all of whom faces higher barriers to reproductive health care. Baker ruled that the plaintiffs were likely to prevail on the merits of the case in showing the law posed a categorically unconstitutional restriction to a woman's rights to terminate her pregnancy before the fetus is considered viable outside of the womb. Baker said that the state has made no arguments to the contrary and instead took the position that the U.S. Supreme Court wrongly decided its 1973 landmark ruling in Roe v. Wade, which guaranteed a woman's right to abortion before viability at around 24 to 28 weeks of gestation. In her 21-page opinion, Baker also held that women seeking abortions in Arkansas face irreparable harm in the state in question were allowed to take effect while the challenge to it remained under review. The judge noted that Arkansas ranks at the 5th poorest amongst the 50 U.S. states. Like many other abortion restrictions enacted in Republican-led states in recent years, the Arkansas ban is part of a conservative effort to prompt the Supreme Court to roll back Roe versus Wade, as the court's balance has tipped further to the right. The governor himself said when he signed the law that it was intended to set the stage for the Supreme Court overturning current case law. The High Court has signaled it was open to that possibility in May when it agreed to review Mississippi's bid to ban abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. According to the ACLU and Planned Parenthood, the Arkansas legislature has passed 20 restrictions on abortion in 2021 alone, the highest number of any state in a single year since 1978, when Louisiana approved that many. And next we have Fauci intimidates scientists from contradicting him because he controls all the funding. Paul subjected Fauci to stiff questioning during a Senate hearing chaired by Democrat Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota early in the day, with Fauci quibbling over Paul's definition of gain of function research, which the lawmaker said came from a document sourced by another epidemiological expert. The senator went on to urge Fauci, the head of the National Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Disease, to reconsider prior testimony denying NIH particular funding and endeavors at the Wuhan lab, where many believe COVID-19 originated, citing federal perjury laws. Paul reacted further to Fauci's behavior and doubled down on his assertion that the 80-year-old Brooklyn, New York native is not letting on as much as he should be on top of the gain of function research funding. He said he read aloud the NIH definitions of gain or function research, as well as a scholarly paper from a cellular biology expert working at Rutgers University in New Jersey, which described Wuhan lab officials Dr. Xi Jinping work as the textbook definition of such experimentation. All Dr. Fauci could do was sputter and call me liar, but he never at the point in any time addressed any of the facts that we laid out that the money he was given to Wuhan was indeed for gain of function. Paul chucked up the fact that he is one of few prominent medical experts as a doctor himself, speaking out and contradicting Fauci to the assertion that many others in medicine rely on NIAID funding, which Fauci has the ultimate say on. But what we're going to do is let you know what's going on in the Bronx for the weekend. The Bronx Summer Concert Series kicks off at Orchard Beach. Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. will host the Bronx Summer Concert Series openers just the other day at Orchard Beach. The summer, as part of the series, Diaz will host different concerts from July and through September at Orchard Beach. The Bronx Riviera featuring a wide variety of artists, including local solo artists and dance teams. The series final will take place on Labor Day weekend. The Bronx Summer Concert Series at Orchard Beach, sponsored by Bronx Care Health System, the National Jazz Museum in Harlem, Empire City Casino, Ponce Bank, Latino Sports, the New York City Parks Department, the Bronx Tourism Council, the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation, and the Office of the Bronx Borough President, kicks off this past Sunday, July 18th from 1 to 5 p.m. at Section 9. And who do they have there? They have Brenda K. Starr, Johnny Mambo and Friends featuring Pepito Gomez. This year's concert lineup includes subject to change. But what do we have coming this week? July 25th is Ray De La Paz and Son Diamante. August 8th, Mambo Legends Orchestra. August 15th, the Nelson Gonzalez All-Stars. August 22nd, the Dream Team All-Stars. September 5th, El Gran Combo, which my mother used to listen to as when I was a child, so I definitely know who they are. But that's what's going on in the Bronx for the weekend, for the summer actually, at Orchard Beach. Make sure to stay tuned. Keep watching us on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, your Apple TV. You can watch us on all smart TVs. You can download the app on your phones, whether you have an Android or iPhone. Millennium TV 24. You're watching the Good Looking News. I am Kim Seabrook, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in.